there, today I'm here to bring you one of my non-booktube reviews. This is something that I started doing last year, where I set myself the challenge of reading one book a month which I hadn't heard of from booktube, and I really enjoyed doing that, and I did individual reviews of each of them to kind of just talk about books that aren't widely spoken about. However, I decided to stop that this year because I didn't really want a challenge of having to read a particular book. I wanted to just more read what I fancied reading. However, I did want to carry on doing a few non-booktube reviews if I happened to read a book that wasn't booktube recommended or that I hadn't heard other people speak about, and I have got one of those for you today. Kindly, Glagoslav Publications sent me a copy of Alpine Ballad by Vasil, Bykau? I'm probably butchering that surname. I have worked with Glagoslav before, so they are a publisher who I really appreciate what they do. So they publish Slavic texts which are either not published in English up until now, or have been banned for whatever reason, or have been kind of restricted in their publication, and they kind of get those texts out into the world, and I think it's really lovely. And I've actually read a few of their books. As I say, they've sent me quite a few up to this point, and I've always enjoyed them, so I was more than happy to read this one as well. So this is by Vasil Bykau, as I say, who is a Belarusian writer, and it was translated by another name, which I'm probably going to say entirely wrong, Mikalai Kailo. The translation job on this book is probably the most impressive translation job I have ever read. So we follow a Russian man and an Italian woman, and they have both escaped from prisoner camps. And they kind of end up going on a journey together to escape the Nazis, and it turns into a bit of a blossoming romance, and it looks at how their relationship develops. But what makes this such an impressive translation effort is that the Russian man talks Russian and the Italian woman speaks Italian, so they don't really know what each other are saying a lot of the time, and they kind of try to communicate in this kind of mixed Italian, Russian, German, and it is all done in this book in an English translation. It's kind of meta and very confusing, but it's done actually really well. So at the start of the book, when they don't understand each other at all, there are a lot of footnotes, obviously translating what each of them is saying, and in brackets it tells you which language each thing was said in. But as the book goes on and they develop their own kind of language and their own communication methods, those footnotes pretty much drop off completely. So you really kind of follow their journey in the sense of getting to understand what they're saying a whole lot more, and I think that's so effectively done. I have to say that this isn't my favourite Glagoslav book that I have read. I think ultimately it was quite short, and it didn't overly impact me. I don't know that it's one I will remember, but as I say, in terms of the translation alone, I think it's a really impressive feat. And it was a pleasant book. It was well written. I think the story was really heartwarming, and it kind of looks at, I suppose, what war does to people, the impact that being a prisoner has had on these people, and the way that they come together. There's also a man in here who is also an escaped prisoner, but they refuse to give him bread, and he ends up basically turning on them and saying that he's going to turn them in, and it kind of looks at the extremes that people had to go to just to feed themselves, and sort of the way that they turn on each other for the sake of getting some food. It's a lovely story, and I think I would recommend it. As I say, it wasn't my favourite Glagoslav book. I gave it 3 stars in the end, but it was definitely an enjoyable reading experience, and it kind of weirdly got me on this sort of kick for wanting to read more. I haven't been overly reaching for books recently, and this really kind of kick-started me. I think because it was an easy read, it was really a sweet story, and it was quite a short book, so it didn't take me that long, so it kind of got me back into a pace. So yeah, if that sounds like something you would be interested in, I will link Glagoslav's website down below, and I would definitely recommend checking them out, and I will see you next time. Bye!